It's very difficult to discover a fuck-up tragically made honestly by people who don't know they fucked up. But we know with really bad software, the only way out of chaos is to uninstall, go back to something that worked, and reboot. The argument from Einstein hanging on a cross is that nothing is written. You're an 8-year-old child. If you're age 7 or younger, this has nothing to do with it. You're an 8-year-old kid in the playground. Born again looks to be a reboot sequence of the body. Younger, fresh teeth, fresh hair, start over. I merged Commodore 64 basic computer language with hypnosis beginning in 1983. I started doing volunteer work so I could get enough online time to memory map the human mind as if memory mapping a computer matrix. So I could ascertain what the hell hypnosis was in relation to computer logic, and from this, discovered a more interesting way of using the human mind in relation to computers to torpedo knowledge to a need-to-know basis and build a web of influence that you can't use at the time that you write it. You use it in the future when you go from a nobody to a somebody. So that when people realize that they are on your team because you contacted them 30 years ago, those who are last to be first. Those people you contacted last will be the first that will be joining up to help you. But if you use the internet to torpedo knowledge to the one person who needs to know when they need to know, they're already primed. Logic is infectious. Good logic is healthy. In the game of Armageddon is written, 485 years of always faithful Marines are a flock who were never told that from the end of the age today, all the way back to Sermon on the Mount, is a time map. Those who are last be first backwards in time. This guy's a genius. He just needed a freedom of speech, and he couldn't get one because my elder relatives back then were a bunch of hypocritical assholes. They wouldn't give him a freedom of speech, so he tackled the first of 3 quests in the Torah and broke out all the tools so that you're not reading the Holy Quran. You and 3 friends are walking in parallel paths in space-time. As those who are last be first, backwards through the book, now look at going forwards, Mark, Luke, John, bread in the realm, Mark 1:1, Luke 1:1, John 1:1. This is a template Muhammad built to teach everybody how to use the tools. I'm Jewish for the direct paper King David. The world looks like Revelations. I build games using hypnosis instead of graphics. George Bush's terror movies do the same thing. Nobody told the Marine Corps. I got pissed. I went to USAJ. I volunteered. Thomas Jefferson, using these tools, stated in the Declaration of Independence, if you see duty against a tyrannical government that no one else sees, if you believe in the Union, you must rise to defend all. JFK, just before he shot to death in Dallas, said he found a plot to enslave the whole USA. When they applied internet tools to history, a world map as a calendar year, humans with data packets, flies, or viruses, everyone faces forward in space-time. In 1833, U.S. President Andrew Jackson closed the second U.S. bank. He didn't want these wicked people in his government. These are schoolyard bullies that have grown old but are just schoolyard bullies. And they're using logic that is so absolutely impossible in reality, that's how they got away with it. Nobody believed it could happen. But consider how a free man is enslaved by a Torah with so many rules you trick someone into carrying a rule book. Consider how U.S. Army personnel ordered a GITMO to torture grew a mold of dishonor over the honor of the Marine Corps to make you and I look nuke-able. George Bush is a bully, and he made we the people look like shit so he could sell and service our suffering with poppy bush opium. He violated oath of office. He spent every dollar he could find to Halliburton, Dick Cheney's company, to build 30,000 guillotines and 2 billion coffins and trains and buses with shackles. Should the Chinese pull their loans, the public panics uncontrollably, creating a zombie apocalypse is written. Or wake your Marines right fucking now. And George Bush, Dick Cheney, Bill Gates, John Kerry, Halliburton, Microsoft, Monsanto, and members of Skull and Bones and Business Club, the White House Blitz, and the PNAC document are going to discover the Marines standing right next to them are going to judge everyone that violates to torture and dishonor and scapegoat and lie, endanger the honor of the Marine Corps, and the Marines can no longer protect them. Marines, I serve you. I am Aquarius.